King Edward, later known as Edward the Elder, was born in 874 when his father Alfred the Great, was 26 years old. At the time of Edward's birth, his father had been king of the West Saxons for around 3 years. When Edward was about 12, in 886, his father became king of all the Anglo-Saxons. Alfred died in October 899, and Edward succeeded him as king at the age of 25. Edward would reign as king of the Anglo-Saxons for just under 25 years, until 924, when he was around 50 years of age. Edward ruled roughly 1,100 years ago, 97 years after his great-grandfather Egbert ascended to the throne, around 150 years before the total defeat of the Anglo-Saxons at the Battle of Hastings, and around 750 years before Charles I was beheaded. As he consolidated his power and expanded into areas held by Danish invaders under Danelaw, all sovereigns that came after him were considered kings and queens of England. His father Alfred was considered one of the great kings. Alfred wasn't really meant to be king. He ascended to the throne when his older brother, King Aethelred, died. Aethelred had 2 sons, either of which could have succeeded him as king. But because at the time Aethelred's sons were infants, and the Anglo-Saxons were being threatened by invading Danish Vikings, it was decided that Alfred, Aethelred's younger brother, should become king instead. What all this meant, though, was that once Alfred died, Aethelred's sons, now adults, had a legitimate claim to the throne, and one of them, Aethelwold, set about making that claim. The first thing Aethelwold tried to do was to raise an army to challenge Alfred's son Edward. After failing to get sufficient support, he fled to the Vikings who controlled Northumbria. In the early 900s, Aethelwold persuaded Vikings in East Anglia to attack Edward's territory. Edward attacked back, and though the Danes were victorious at the subsequent Battle of Holm, Aethelwold was killed, drawing a line under any challenges to Edward's rule. In 909, Edward sent his army to harass the Danes in Northumbria. The Danes retaliated, but were met by Edward's army where they suffered a terrible defeat at the Battle of Tettenhall, after which, it's reported, they never ventured south of the River Humber again. As a consequence, Edward was able to concentrate his forces on conquering the southern part of Danelaw in East Anglia and East Mercia. In 917, he and his allies attacked and completely overwhelmed the East Anglian Danes. Finally, in 920, he forced the Northumbrian Danes into submission. Edward died in 924, having laid the groundwork for the unification of all of England. He was succeeded by his son Aethelstan, who was to become the first West Saxon king to reign over all of England. You can learn more about Aethelstan in our next video. Please remember to hit the subscribe button below to receive an alert when we upload our next video. You can also support us via Patreon using the link below.